Welcome back, and welcome if you're just joining us to a playoff edition of Keys to the Game with Braden Johansen and Daniel Pennetti. We've got regional semifinals coming up for you between the number 9 seed Mason Comets and the number 5 seed Moeller Crusaders. Daniel, I'm going to send it off to you. What are we looking at this week?
Yeah, it's a rematch of last year's game, same exact spot as well in the semifinals. And Mason, they've been a huge surprise this year for everyone around high school football. You know, they started out the season so rough, and now they're here in the semifinals. Like, if this team has just showed so much life that we honestly didn't know that they had in them these past couple of weeks, and they haven't won in the most bragging rights of ways, but they've gotten the job done. Let's go to last week's win, the biggest upset of the playoffs so far. The Comets taking down the number 1 Milford Eagles in a 10-9 thriller, where the Comets, their only touchdown didn't come off of an offensive score, didn't come off of a defensive score, but it was a block punt for the 7, and that ended up winning them the game. It was Tyler Dalton who forced a punt, and then Kai Woolfolk responded by getting it and then getting the 7. So this Mason team, they're going in off of a huge hot streak. They came off of 2 shutouts right before this game. This defense has just been playing incredibly.
Yeah, very reminiscent of last year's playoffs, if you followed that at all. So very similar for our juniors last year, now seniors, and anyone else who stayed at school. Such as like the Springboro game last year, where they came back late in the game. I believe it was Braden Greer with a fantastic catch in that one to keep him in that and send him to play Moeller in the next round, which is where they are right now.
Yeah.
And just to refresh you on, or just inform you on Moeller's game, if you didn't follow that at all, they won 10-7, I believe, against, who was it again, Daniel?
It was St. X that they took down, a 10-7 win, and like you said, Braden Greer with a huge catch last year. Unfortunately, he's out for the rest of the season off of an injury in the win against Lebanon. But looking at this 10-7 win for Moeller, it really came off of the legs of Jordan Marshall.
Yeah, Jordan Marshall, like you talk about Braden Greer getting injured. Jordan Marshall, we weren't sure that he was even going to make an appearance in this playoff run. But first game of the playoffs for him last week, and he just ran the ball we see him running the ball for 127 yards, averaged 5 yards per run, got a touchdown off of that, their only touchdown of the game, and their defense just played the rest of that game for him and held the Bombers to only 1 touchdown that game.
Yeah, Moeller's game all year has been establishing a run game and letting their defense lead them to victory, and that's exactly what they did last week against a very good team like St. X. You know, they did an incredible job on defense. They forced a game-winning interception at the end to really seal it. It was Connor Cuzzo with the interception, and this Moeller team, they're big ball hawks. 18 interceptions on the year. I mean, the Comets and Quinn Brown, they can't afford any turnovers. They had a couple last week, and luckily they were able to pull a win out of that. But against a great team like Moeller, you can't have those turnovers.
Yeah, you've got a very unbelievable kind of ratio there where Ponatowski only has 8 interceptions on the year as opposed to the defensive 18, I think you said, Daniel. Mm-hmm. So I think the matchup between the air and the ground forces of Moeller against Mason's defense is really going to be one to watch.
Yeah, let's take a look at these records. Mason going in 7-5, Moeller 8-4. Moeller started the year 1-3, but was able to win the next 7 out of their 8 games. So we talk about how Mason is on a hot streak. I don't think there's a team that's hotter right now than Moeller. They have. They had a very hard start to the year. Of course, Moeller, they're going to have a tougher schedule than the GMC teams. And, they've done a great job bouncing back. Looking back at this game last year, it was a 24-16 win for Moeller. Jordan Marshall, 13 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown. This Comet team, they weren't necessarily expected to have such a close game, but they were able to keep Moeller in check a little bit, and you hope that this year they can flip that turnaround and hopefully go on to the finals. If you want to talk about the other semifinal game.
I mean, yeah. Sorry, I will get to that other playoff game, but just to continue off what you said. Sorry, lost my train of thought a little bit there. Oh, yeah, found it again. Sorry. Think about Mason's defense from last year. One could argue that in this playoff run that they've improved their defense monumentally from last year, where they gave up 24 points last year. I think that they can minimize that to maybe 2 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that the defense has been playing, they've given up combined 9 points in the last 3 games. Like they've been playing out of their mind, and even their defense last year was incredible, led by guys like Jake Bates and a couple other guys. It's a huge new defensive look for Mason, and they've just done a great job all season. So Mason, they're the underdogs once again. They've been playing as underdogs all playoff run, and they've done an incredible job at it. So, the other game tonight is going to be the number 3 Lakota West versus number 2 Princeton. That game's going to be at Mason tonight, so we get a little close by action. But the winner of this Mason-Moeller game will take on the winner of that, and hopefully it's Mason.
Yeah, if you're not looking to travel as far as you are, if you're stationed in Mason, maybe you just want to watch a little football, either watch our broadcast or head out to Dwyer Field, Beacon Orthopedic Stadium. So just great football this week. Look forward to seeing you. Anything else from you, Daniel?
No, that's it. Go Comets.
Go Comets.